What is up? What is up, Sports-A-Delic? And as I told you all, Sports-A-Delic is about sports and everything else. And today we're going to be talking about the cigar game and how it's synonymous with sports. And ladies, I got a treat for you. Not only is he handsome and sexy, but he's sexy and handsome. I got Gary Harlem Brother Young coming at you from brand 1776. Let's get to the studio and meet this handsome dove. Gary, quite contrary. How are you, darling?
I'm I'm cool being under the weather, but I'm okay. So
Well,
excuse my appearance, please.
well, everybody knows that you're sharper than a tack. So uh, as long as you're dressed down, that means all the other brothers have a chance to dress up. That's all that
Yeah,
means at the end
yeah,
of the
just keep
day.
it. I just
Uh,
keep it simple.
well, that's the theory. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what works. Uh, the
Hmm.
o- the over the top never works. But thank you for joining us here, Sports-A-Delic. Because you know how passionate we are about sports, and
Hmm. Oh
nothing is
yeah,
nothing is better than watching a game and enjoying a few steaks and some nice cocktails.
no doubt, no doubt.
And
And
I thought,
thanks for having me.
oh, absolutely, no problem. I thought it'd be fitting for you to share with us about brand 1776, the different blends and how people can ultimately, bring that pleasure to their mouth.
Right. Well, how you want me to start? The beginning, how it came about, or just the brand itself?
All the above.
Well, like I tell most people, this wasn't just an overnight thing. This was something that was in the planning for a few months, close to a year. The idea was brought to my attention a year before I decided to bring the brand out. And so we decided to have a good team. I have a president, I have me, the CEO, everybody, secretary. I mean, we have a whole business. So it's not like it's a two partner thing and just having an overnight fling with this. And it took the time for us to really pick, the right tobacco, the right blends, to make it happen. And I didn't want to just own a company just to say I own a company. I really want to be part of it, and I definitely want people to enjoy what they're smoking, not to just throw something out there for people just to grab, and next thing you know they don't like it. And I'm reaping money off that. I want to make something off something that people would like doing. So,
Absolutely. Well, I
so
certainly
that's
appreciate that.
oh yeah, and that's the only way I can. That's the only way I can go about things. I keep everything fair and respectful anyway. As much as possible. So I have three blends, well, three lines, of course. One is called a smooth sailing, and it's very light body, mild to not to close to a medium, but it's a nice laid back. Has like like a little. I would say cinnamon kind of flavor. It's not spiked with anything, but sometimes with these blends and how these farmers cure the tobacco, they can develop their own flavors and tastes and stuff like that. It depends on the region, like the dirt and like I said, how the farmers take care of this tobacco and stuff. So that's how come you really can really get natural flavors without infusing and stuff like that. You know,
Right.
like coffee and tea. You got different blends coming out the ground and stuff. A lot of seasonings, and so forth. And the second one I have is called the culture. Culture is like a medium to full, and it has a very I wouldn't say heavy, but you can taste the weight of the flavor in the tobacco because you know how pungent tobacco is anyway. So
Right.
it really kind of kicks in, and and all of them have a nice long burn. Burns even. There's no rush or anything. And I remember accidentally I had left one outside and it was kind of dry, and I ended up
Hmm.
smoking it anyway.
Right.
Because most times you want your cigars to be kind of moist, not moist, but nice and soft, and it burns faster when it's dry. Well,
Right.
for some reason, it still took a good a good minute or so for me to finish the cigar by
Well,
doing it
a
dry
lot of
as it
time,
was.
a lot of times that means it's pretty good if you can light up and
Yeah.
still be worth a
So I was,
damn smoking.
yeah, so I was kind of good. I was like, okay, I hope, if anybody else experienced this little accident that they'll be satisfied, at the same time. And then the other one, the last one I have is called the Scarlet Crown. That's very full body, very, very rich. I mean, you can taste as soon as you light it up, you can taste the richness in it. And it's by all means, I'm glad to have all of them, and I like all of them. So you can't sell something that you don't like. I'm not gonna sit here and downplay one of the cigars and be like, oh no, I don't like this one, but I think y'all will. you know, so I
Well,
like it.
well, for those of us that are in the Atlanta area,
Mhm.
how do we get these cigars?
Well, right now we changed the marketing to try to get the cigars into lounges now. We just started doing that because they were boutique style. You would get like a 3-pack. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you get three in a pack. And so what I'm doing is changing the labeling, and I got boxes for like size of like 30 in a box. So that way these boxes can lay in humidors now. So hopefully we'll start getting them in Atlanta probably within the next month or so, because the
Okay.
holidays are where it's at. Not everybody's really talking business, but there's, putting the bug in people's ears right now on what we're trying to do.
All right. Well, that's what's up. They'll be coming to our mouth pretty soon, and that's what
hmm
it's about.
You can always order them online at, the brand 1776.com.
That's the brand
The brand.
1776.com.
Yep.
All right. Now, I have a question. I'm just curious, how did you all come up with the names of each one of these cigars?
Well, smooth sailing because it's light and smooth. And there's a certain percentage of people in the cigar community that really smoke a lot of light body cigars.
Right.
Then you have, I consider like the hip crowd, not saying hip crowd, but the more hip, they really get more into cigar smoking for the culture because you have a very vast mix of people that are smoking cigars now. So there's a
Right.
little bit more in the level of the community of how people getting in and really can taste and smoking and talk about it at the same time. So you got different levels for everybody. And the Scarlet Crown is because of the majesty and the level of the leaf, the richness of it is why we
Okay.
call it that. And it's pretty pricey, in a sense, but that's pretty much the reason why we came up with it. And some of the changes are going to have symbols of animals, on it, like an elephant. One is, a shield. So we
Mhm.
changing the labeling just a little bit too, but we're still going to keep
Okay.
the original labels.
All right. Well, we certainly, wish you nothing but, success. And because how I, had stumbled across you, because when I sent you the friends request, and I remember you asking me, yeah, so, I don't know you. Why did you hit me up type thing? And I told you the truth. I said, hey,
You did. You did.
you got your beard laid out to the max, you're dressed to the nines, so,
I
you know,
appreciate it. I just
easy.
a simple dude.
And then, you was part of the Leaf Life, so that was a easy request for me to make. At that, at that point, share with me what is it that you love the most about this whole entire cigar business, the cigar lifestyle.
uh,
Because for me, it's about the conversations and the people that you.
and that's pretty much. I always call it an interest, a hobby, an art. Of things involving that when it comes to cigar smoking. Some people are brand new to it, so they get to learn about smoking. I've been smoking cigars since ninth grade, so I'm immune to a lot of these things. So when I see somebody smoke and I ask them how's a cigar, sometimes I like to hear what they taste versus saying, "Oh, it's a good cigar." What do you taste in?
Yeah. Why is it good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't just show me the label. Sometimes the label ain't telling me anything. Can you tell me something about it without the label? Something
Exactly.
simple. I mean, not everybody's going to have the same taste, but I at least like to hear something of what you like about it.
Right.
If I'm gonna have a conversation or whatever, and it's a good table talk kind of thing. The cigars and people meet over cigars, so it's a brand. What you call it? What's the thing when people say it's a new? a fad. It's still a fad because you got all these different
Right.
changes, and you have buku cigar owners coming out of the woodwork out of nowhere. You got lounges just popping up all over the place.
Yeah, here in Georgia, it's the Atlanta
Yes,
metro
it
area, I
is.
should say, is saturated. I
It
mean,
is.
it's well over 125, 30.
It
But,
sure is.
but, but a lot of people, to me, it's just an extension of some people's living room. They're really not about the customer. They're
Mhm.
really not about what the game is about, so to speak. Um, they
Best
want
part.
you they want you to frequent their lounge,
Hmm.
but they haven't really invested in the inventory.
Yeah.
They don't want you to bring your own product, but
Well,
they don't really have anything for you to smoke either.
but like in most business outside the cigar industry, you can only invest what you have and make the best of what you have. So, when it comes to the cigar industry, like you have some places that just like a come and go, and then there's lounges, there's spaces and not a lot of spaces. Then you have your limited, space for smoking. Then you have this COVID thing going around, so that limits a whole lot of things for anything.
It
Not
does.
just cigar community.
It does. That's true. That is
That thing
absolutely
it changes a whole lot of the dynamic sometimes, and like every form of congregating or whatever, you're going to have your cliques. So it doesn't matter. This You could have somebody that buy a $90 cigar and somebody else that buy a $5 cigar. Better than the next person. It's a cigar.
right. And I know, Atlanta is a very trendy, city,
Hmm.
and everything is about voguing and parlaying and all of that trash. I really do mean this. I think the best cigar that you can smoke is whatever you enjoy smoking at that
Always.
time.
That's right.
Um, the mistake, and it's an honest mistake. Uh,
Hmm.
the mistake that I think, and I'll just speak from my personal experiences.
Hmm.
I may have a man offer me a cigar and he's pumping it up and he's telling me all about the cigar, not knowing that I know about cigars, and I
Hmm.
know that it's not as satisfying and gratifying.
Hmm.
It's going to be for me, but and so I'll respectfully, decline, because it's too much time to put in something and not enjoy it. It's
Right.
about enjoying, the smoke. And that's what I tell people. Hey, if you like it, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I don't want them being too aggressive about
Right.
try this,
Right.
try this, try this. And then that's when I have to get into it and break it down to them and say, look, this is a loose filler. It's
Yeah.
tobacco that just didn't make the cut.
It did
Blah
make
blah.
sense.
Yeah, and so I
Oh
don't
yeah.
want it. I don't
Oh
want it.
yeah.
That type of thing.
You got people that pretty much don't understand a lot of things that they're not into. Like, in other words, a while back, I had this gentleman, I had did something for him, and everything went through well, and he thought about me, but he didn't understand the cigar thing. So he gave me a cigar, and I know it didn't come from a cigar lounge, but a cigar spot. And I know
Right.
that, because I looked at it, I said, oh, okay. He said, I don't know much about cigars, Mr. Gary, but I just wanted to give you something with appreciation. I said, well, that's not, because again, it's the thought. So he didn't look at it to be cheap. He just didn't know how to go about it. So he
Right.
just went and got the cigar. And I said, okay, cool. I appreciate it. Then a couple of weeks later, he did some research. He actually went to the cigar lounge and got a cigar. He went to the one that I used to frequent at. And the
Okay.
guys told him, oh, well, this is what he likes to smoke. And he at the time, so he went and got the cigar and brought it back to me again. I said, man, you ain't had to do that. The first one was fine. He said, no, it wasn't. I said it was fine, man.
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Yeah,
but it was cool.
I guess I'm a little more difficult than that, because it is the thought that count. And sometimes, unfortunately, I know what you were thinking. That's what I say. Still the
Yeah,
thought.
he didn't know, right? It was just the thought of
Yeah.
that. So I don't expect anybody. The only way I expect you to have the same expectations with me is that you are with me in my walks, that we're together and we communicate a lot. That's the only way you're gonna understand me. But the first time meeting me, I don't hold you accountable to know
Exactly.
everything.
Exactly. And then we talked about this before. Price isn't an indication
Right,
necessarily of a quality cigar.
right.
Um,
It's not. It's what you like, what you make of it.
right.
But then
Because
look at the prices and the sales that you get every time you go into these places. The sales go up and down. The prices change, whatever. So that should tell you we know how much it takes to make a cigar
right. Well,
to make it.
I'm going to be doing a video later on today. I'm going to be highlighting the cigar of the year, and it's a shocker, the cigar of the year. A lot of
Mm,
people feel like some of these ratings are more or less paid for, et cetera, et cetera. But it's still the rating scale that most
it's
people look through.
the
Yeah,
psyche of all this. That's all
right.
it is.
So, but I'm still excited to do the video about it because, Perdermo puts out excellent,
They do.
dependable, reliable, consistent
Hmm.
product. No
Yep,
doubt
they do.
about it.
They definitely do that.
And
Yeah,
and they have
yeah.
all price points, represented, and that's
Yep.
what makes it good, as
I,
well.
I totally agree over 100% on that when it comes to Padermo.
Right.
You're right. I
Because I
give it
know
that.
consistency. How do you
Exactly.
all stay consistent with your product?
It's just a matter to monitoring how we, smoke them every now and then, and we get the shipments, coming in, and still trust the shipments how they come, and that way we can ship them out and everything like that.
Right.
I've had one incident where one kind of unraveled on one of
Hmm.
my customers. It was actually somebody I knew, and they, took a picture and sent it to me or whatever. So I just say, hey, let me you know, just go ahead and take this one. you know,
Right.
I don't want anybody to be unsatisfied. I mean, every now and then we're gonna come across a cigar that's gonna unravel. That's the
Right.
one thing. We're gonna come across. It could be the top of the line that we like, and then at one time it's like, man, this never happened to me. Now,
Right.
for a cigar to unravel a lot, then that company has issues.
Absolutely. And I know sometimes with the smaller guys, it's harder to maintain that level of consistency. It's just the nature of the business.
It is.
You
It
know,
can be, but knock on wood. Unfortunately, we haven't had any issues.
right, right. And like I said, and it definitely happens. And sometimes it's really not the quality of the cigar as much as it's the shelf life and where the people
Hmm.
have how they're storing them. Because here in Atlanta, like I said, there's a lot of lounges with zero when it comes to any type of uh, smoke eating, um, because air quality is important. And that's what I try to explain to people, that when you are in a lounge and there's not proper ventilation,
Hmm.
because I only frequent lounges if I can also be outside, you
Right.
know, because if you go in a lounge, you come out and you smell like the ashtray, that lets you know the
Jesus.
ventilation is improper. And then you feel real tired, real sluggish. Well, the stuff that is being exhaled is not
Excuse me.
necessarily designed to be breathing back in. And you're stuffed in there, 25, 30 people. There's not any proper ventilation, and that's just
Hmm.
not, good. And although
Yeah,
cigars is
ventilation is
the
definitely
lesser,
key.
right. And then the humidor, uh, you can walk in and tell that the temperature is off, and the cigars are dried up and all of this
Yeah.
stuff. So,
I've been fortunate. I have attended this one place. I'm not gonna call the name of the place because it was not to put anybody else on blast, but this place was very very well. What you call the circulation of the smoke and everything
mhm,
was perfect. It's like it was a lot. For some reason, there was a lot of people in there smoking, and I didn't see any smoke clouds. It just hit me like, man, it's kind of clear up in here. And it was real nice. I mean, to the point where you don't have to open the door, because some places you got to open the door and stuff like that. So the ventilation was like on point. I was like, man, I had to come back to this place. So I've been back to the place probably like 2 or 3 times
well,
already.
unfortunately, here, Davidoff Lounge, recently closed, but and that was more, I think, of a location issue. But
Hmm.
they have a patent on their ventilation system.
Mm-hmm.
And
I heard.
I kid you not. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
walk in there, it's just like you just still outside. I don't know what they're doing, how they're doing it, but they're doing it the right way, especially if they
Yeah.
have put a patent on it and
Well, this
everything.
place do carry Davidoff.
Okay, well, and there
So
you
they
have
have
it.
their own display. So
Right.
yeah, this place do carry Davidoff. So there you go.
Well, I really like the avos. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
I haven't enjoyed one um, that I didn't like, I guess. So,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, when you're out or even at home, just enjoy, the whole process of it with whatever you want to drink. Because a lot of people are under this myth that it has to be brown liquor, and they forget that
Mm-hmm.
it's a pairing. That's why beer and wine are
Mm-hmm.
excellent pairings, and I like to
Most
just
of the time.
enjoy cranberry juice,
And water.
sometimes, and
Water's a
water.
great
Yeah,
pairing because you
yeah.
can taste the tobacco and it has a clean slate.
Every
Cleans your
time,
tune. Yep.
every time.
I've
Now,
always been a fan before I started my brand. I've always been a fan of Olivas, Avos, and Perdomos.
my favorite is the Oliva V
V,
Millennium.
yeah, that's one of
Mi-
mine too. Yeah.
The Millennium. That's man, I love that cigar right there. But before we get out of here, I'm gonna ask you the toughest question because I I used to be able to pinpoint this, but because of COVID, I can't do it
Mhm.
because I know you're a big sports fan. Who you think college? Who's gonna take it all?
I would hope somebody besides Bama. I like Georgia to try to pull it off, but when they played against Bama, it didn't look all that great. Um, so to think it'd be like who I would like to see win, but who I think is going to take it would be Bama.
Well, I'm jumping off the cliff. I believe it's going to be Michigan.
I would hope Michigan,
I
but
believe
I
I believe
like
it's going to
Georgia.
be Michigan.
Georgia and
Nobody's talking
Michigan
about it.
too. I'm rooting
Nobody's talking
between
about it.
those two. Yeah,
But like I
yeah.
said, with COVID, you can be poised and ready to roll, and you have
Well, COVID changed a whole lot during the season in all level of different sports with the lineups and everything. So not a lot of teams been consistent. A lot of teams are at 500, which is kind of wild to see. And being a former football official is it's like you can see the game when you're on the field different than you see it on TV.
right. Yeah, yeah. We talked about that as well. Now, my Washington team. What was left of my team was
Washington,
mollywopped.
who?
Yeah. Well, we're Chase Young said it best. We're a football team. We're grown men playing football. He said, I'm a Buckeye. So the mascot is fine, but I'm not in college anymore. So I'm rolling with what Chase Young said.
I
But,
like that. Yeah.
but we were mollywopped. And I put out this post. A lot of the Cowgirl fans upset with me because I said, hey, I put a picture of the Lombardi. I'm like,
Oh yeah, I
congratulations.
saw that.
You all won the Super Bowl because that was the response. I mean, they act like
They
and
did, yeah. But they were
COVID.
hyped for that game.
Yeah, but injury, it's a rivalry, but injuries, COVID, it doesn't matter what the issue is. It's not the other
Mhm.
team's problem. And Dallas, they did what they were supposed to do. But I knew when we had two guys out there, one guy was working in a grocery store and one guy was on the practice squad that hadn't played
Mhm.
ever. But we had a lot of injuries early. And when I say early, I'm talking about like the first 3 games of the season. We lost 2 linemen, 2 on our back end.
Mhm.
We didn't even have the same players when we played Dallas 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, they beat us by 7. Then they turned around and beat us by 42, and they should have because, like I said, we
That was
had.
crazy. Well,
And
it's
look
like
at
I
the
tell.
Saints. The Saints only had 9 key players out last night. 9.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, they had 9. The whole entire
Wow.
defense basically was
Well,
out.
like we tell it, like when I played, and we tell guys, you playing the bench for a reason. But when you come off the bench, you're supposed to be ready to want to play. Don't get used to just riding that bench, come out there eager to want to play. You know?
Yeah, I think what happens is because I remember particularly, when I was playing in high school and even college, people always feel like they should either be splitting time with you or starting in front of you. And then, okay, I twist my ankle. I'm out for 3 games. That's your time. That's your opportunity to show
Yep.
what's up.
Yep.
But it just shows you, even at the professional level, how good those guys really are when the drop off is that tremendous. And they're still going to beat most cats, but it just lets you know, the true essence when they say professional athlete. And it's still so many levels inside of that. But the Super Bowl,
you see this right there, right?
Right. The football giants. Hey.
Well, I'm from New York. So by me being from New York, I'm a represent all my home teams. That's just it. I'm not a traveling team cheerer or whatever you call it. I stick with my home. Win or lose, don't matter.
Yeah, the thing is, I think the team that's going to win the Super Bowl in the NFL is going to be the team that survives COVID and stay, healthy.
Oh, you talking about the Bucks?
Probably the Bucks, and you can't do and get away with anything when Brady takes the field. Like, it's just not going to happen. And
he's proven a little something to me that he's a quarterback. That's just my opinion. I'm not an expert at this, but that's my opinion, because all I tell people, the only thing I can pick with is that we owned them in the Super Bowl. That's it. I said, but when he went to the Bucks, he started showing his game. I said, okay, he ain't too bad after all. Because when he was with the Patriots, a lot of things was pampered around him.
Or so we thought.
Yeah, until he got to the Bucks, I'm like, okay, he doing his thing. And you got to have Gronk with him to bail him out. So, and Gronk is pretty good.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, because right now, Philly reminds me of the football giants when you all went 8-8 and nobody was talking, paying attention, and you spoil the Patriots' perfect season in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And Jalen Hurts, he's been doubted since college, and he's getting better and better with the offense. And we know what he can do with his legs. They have a solid running game. They have a solid defense. And I would not be surprised if Philly get in there and spoil on some folks.
That would be nice. I would see them spoiling the Cowgirls.
Yeah, well, like I said,
that would be the nice spoiler.
Yeah, like I said, I just like throwing stuff out there at them, because it don't take much to get them riled up.
Oh yeah. So, Cowboys fan base, man, they horrible. It's a fan base, but it's not like the Raiders and some of these other places. They go all out, but you got people that just started liking the Cowboys, like they just liked them for like a whole year, 10 years ago. And you just started liking them.
Well, yeah, most of them just talking trash. I mean, they weren't even born at the time, so it's, but thank you, Harlem brother.
Thank you
for bringing brand 1776, to us. And we'll look forward to, enjoying that product, here in ATL. I'll look forward to getting some samples and smoke them up on the show. And, I'm going to be honest. Now, I'm going to be honest.
Of course.
That type of thing.
And that's the only way to be.
And certainly get to feeling better. And thank you for taking time out in spite of. And
my apologies again, but thank you for inviting me on the show.
It's all good. And stay handsome. All right.
Thank you. You too, gorgeous.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.